I have a successful business in NYC, and I'm engaged to my fiancée. We've been together for a few years, and we're planning to get married in June 2025. I'm doing pretty well financially, and I recently bought a house where she'll move in after the wedding. I'm really close with my younger brother, and we've been best friends for as long as I can remember. He got married in April, and as a wedding gift, I surprised him with a Rolex he'd been eyeing for a while. He didn't expect it, and was over the moon about it, which made me feel great because I love him to death. Now here's where things get sticky. My fiancé's older brother got married 2 weeks ago, and leading up to his wedding, she kept making comments about how much her brother loves Rolexes. She'd mention it here and there, but I didn't really pay much attention. For her brother's wedding, I decided to gift him a $2,000 prepaid credit card as a honeymoon gift. I thought it was a generous gesture, and he seemed grateful. But after the wedding, my fiancée started acting strange. Today, she finally told me she was disappointed in me. Apparently, she'd convinced herself that I was going to get her brother a Rolex, just like I did for mine. She even hinted to her brother and some of her friends that I was going to buy him a fancy gift, like a Rolex. Now she's saying that I was cheap because I only gave her brother a $2,000 gift, and how it doesn't compare to the $20,000 I spent on my brother's watch. I'm honestly shocked and upset. Why would she think I'd spend that kind of money on her brother just because I did it for mine? I love her brother, but there's no comparison between him and my own brother, who's my best friend. I feel like she's completely overlooking the fact that I gave her brother a gift that most people would consider very generous. Now I'm starting to have serious second thoughts about this relationship. I never imagined she'd put this kind of pressure on me or act like I owe her family the same kind of money I spend on my own. I'm thinking of confronting her, but I'm wondering if I'm missing something here. Am I the jerk for not buying her brother a Rolex and being upset about her reaction? Now for a few comments. One commenter said, "NTA, if that is the kind of expectation she wants out of you, you better reevaluate your relationship with her." Another added, "She probably can't wait to get married so she can spend his money, like on a Rolex for her brother." Another commenter chimed in, "Lol, yep, she probably told her brother after she gets married she will make it up to him. You're rolling the dice. Gonna regret marrying this one, if you do." Someone else commented, "Right, her mask has slipped. She has now revealed that she's marrying your wallet. I can't imagine someone calling $2,000 cheap. Hell, if I got a $2,000 gift card for my wedding, I'll be giving that person a thank you gift. Not the idiot. You have seen the red flag, and now it's time to run away from the bull." Another commenter said, "She's a gold digger. If your fiancé wanted her brother to have a Rolex, she should have bought it for him. If this relationship continues, you need a prenup, preferably one that protects your premarital assets, future income, retirement accounts, and limits any post-divorce support." Her reaction when you tell your fiancé that you want a prenup and to have separate finances will tell you everything you need to know. And another added, "I'm not saying she's a gold digger, but she moved to the mountains in California in 1849 with some pans and a pickaxe." Now for the update. It's been a few days since my original post, and I've gone through many of your comments. Before I dive into the update, I want to address some common questions. First, a lot of you criticized me for giving my brother a Rolex as a wedding gift, saying a wedding gift should be for the couple. To clarify, I did give my sister-in-law a separate gift, a gold jewelry set from her favorite brand. Second, many of you said some harsh things about my fiancée, questioning whether she even has a job. She's currently completing her PhD with offers from both Meta and Google. I have no doubt she'll be earning a great salary once she finishes. As for our age difference, she's 26 and I just turned 32, so it's only a 5-year gap. It's disappointing that some of you assumed she was with me just for money. Also, for those who asked, she gave my brother a gift worth around $1,000. Now, for the actual update, I asked her to meet me for dinner, and after we went to a nice restaurant, we headed back to my place. I brought up the tension that's been building in our relationship over the last few weeks, and she immediately blamed me, claiming I embarrassed and insulted her brother with the gift I gave him. At that point, I nearly lost it. I reminded her of everything I've done for her over the years, including letting her live rent-free in my old apartment, which I could easily rent out for $3,500 plus per month. I was too drained to argue any further, so I brought up the topic of a prenup. I told her it was in both of our best interests to sign one before getting married. Her reaction was intense. She went wide-eyed, started yelling, and accused me of believing she was only with me for my money. She was furious that I would even consider divorce. After arguing for over an hour, I finally said I needed more time to think about our relationship. She asked if I was breaking up with her, and I said yes. She went quiet for a few minutes before asking what I wanted her to do with the engagement ring. I told her she could keep it. Then she asked about the apartment. I told her she could stay until the end of October, but after that, she'd need to find a new place. She seemed shocked by my answer, though I'm not sure what she was expecting. In short, we've ended our relationship. She tried calling me yesterday, but I was in a meeting and didn't pick up. She later texted asking if we could meet on Saturday, and while I agreed, I've already made up my mind. I'm not going back to her. Her dad reached out, and while we've always gotten along, he was understanding and wished me the best. On the other hand, my mom isn't happy with me, mostly because she got close to her, and I didn't share the real reason behind the breakup. It sucks, especially after all the time and energy I invested in the relationship, but honestly, I'm glad it happened now rather than a few years down the line. Going forward, I'm not rushing into another serious relationship unless I find the right person. Time to enjoy being single. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, "Buying your brother that Rolex was the best money you've ever spent, because what you learned about your fiancée was priceless." Another added, "I think you made the right decision. She is going to be earning a great salary soon. Why wouldn't she want a prenup? A prenup is two-sided, so she could ask for whatever she wanted too. So yes, good decision." Another commenter chimed in, "Yeah, tough, but right choice. She was a red flag and was in it for the money. You need to have a sit-down with your mom, though." Someone else commented, "I think at the heart of it was her utter lack of appreciation and entitlement that hurt you. That attitude ended the life of the relationship." Another commenter said, "I'm not sure what kind of income bracket she lives in to think a $2 wedding gift is somehow insulting or embarrassing. I grew up in a tax bracket where $200 was on the very generous side, but if she's going to react like that, you're better off." Am I the idiot for wanting my wife's friend to leave after she moved into our home post-divorce? My 45 male wife's friend Zell, 32 female, has been living with us for the past month after her marriage imploded about a month ago. Zell came to our country about 3 years ago on a work visa. She was working for a company and met my wife Molly, 43, female, at a work event. Molly and Zell became quick friends as Molly used to do social work, and she found Zell's story to be very moving and interesting. Zell started dating this guy I'll call Ed, M35, who had recently launched a company in her field. She left her original job and started working for Ed, and not long after that, they got married. Zell's job became pretty cushy, so instead of working, she went back to college to pursue a career in social work, and since Molly had experience in this, she became a sort of mentor for Zell. With Ed funding Zell's education and living expenses, it seemed like everything was set for her. Fast forward to mid-August, and Ed found out Zell had been cheating on him for several weeks with one of her classmates. Ed immediately cut funding for Zell's education and kicked her out of his house. The prenup Ed had her sign left her with absolutely nothing, effectively making her penniless and homeless. On top of that, Ed has spread the story across their community, and as such, Zell's reputation is in tatters, and her family back in their home country wants nothing to do with her, supposedly. The divorce hasn't been finalized at the time of this writing. With the resources he has, I imagine Ed could speed up the process, but for whatever reason, it's dragging on. With seemingly no one to turn to, Zell came to us, and Molly welcomed her one day while I was at work. Since then, she has been living in our basement. Molly spends a lot of time now just talking to Zell and trying to help her get her life back on track. So much so that it is starting to affect our personal lives, and I feel like childcare has been made exclusively my responsibility for most of the week. Not only that, but since our gym equipment is in the basement, I had to stop working out, which has adversely affected my own mental health. I've been very annoyed about the entire situation, but have largely borne it in silence until last night. Right before bed, Molly started going on about how the divorce could take months and that we need to find Zell a lawyer. At this stage, I told her that Zell had overstayed her welcome and needed to leave. It got pretty heated, and my wife said I was being shockingly unempathetic. I told her she was ignoring her responsibilities to our children, which deeply offended her. In the end, I told her that as a compromise, we could buy Zell a plane ticket back to her home country so she could be with her family. Molly was so upset at this for whatever reason and just responded with, "Good night." We haven't spoken since then, partially because I decided to go work in my office today since I needed a break from Molly's nonsense. I honestly don't know what to do at this stage. I just want that woman out of my home. Now for the update. 15 hours later, and I still haven't really spoken to my wife. Partially because I was at work all day, but also because I was hoping she'd reach out first. When I got home, Zell was still hanging around like nothing happened, though I guess expecting her to magically leave would be asking for too much. Before the day is done, I will talk to my wife about our situation again because it needs to end. Also, for those wondering, the classmate won't have her either. According to my wife, he told Zell that his personal life would be destroyed if he tried pursuing anything with her, so he ended things abruptly. To my understanding, he has a wife who doesn't even know he cheated. Now for a few important comments. One commenter said, NTA, Zell overstayed her welcome. It's reasonable to prioritize your family's well-being and ask her to find other accommodations. Another added, it's not even just that they're sacrificing their well-being for someone else, but they're doing it for someone who did this to herself. Don't cheat on the goose that lays the golden eggs. Someone else pointed out. Plus, the way it reads, Molly didn't even talk to OP about letting Zell move in. She was just there one day when he got home from work. Then another commenter said, wife is putting her martyr complex ahead of her own family. Zell ruined her own life. Letting her stay any length of time is incredibly generous. Paying for her to fly home to her family is beyond what most would even consider. Now for the 4-day update. I haven't had the chance to update my post because the last few days have been particularly hectic for the family. To sum things up, I did reach out to Molly on Sunday and we managed to patch things up. Since we hadn't spoken for more than a day at that point, I decided not to push the Zell issue any further right then. Fast forward to early Monday morning, and we get a call from Molly's sister. Apparently, their father had a serious fall in the bathroom during the night, and their whole family is flying out to check in on him. Molly booked her flight soon after the news and left yesterday. She hasn't booked her return yet, but I'm guessing she'll be gone 10 to 15 days, depending on the severity of her father's injuries. In the meantime, I've been totally swamped with work and taking care of the kids, but Zell has offered to help out where she can. This morning, she made breakfast for all of us, and even packed lunches for me and the kids, so I don't really have any complaints at the moment. Last night, she did some laundry and straightened up the living room and playroom as well. So far, I'm pleasantly impressed, and figure I'll keep my mouth shut for now, depending on how things go from here. After reading a few comments, I'd like to assure everyone that it is extremely unlikely that Zell will try anything suggestive. To be totally honest, I always got the sense that she felt like I didn't like her much. In the time she's been here, we've probably only spoken 10 to 12 times, and about half of those were just in the past 24 hours, given the current circumstances. If she wants to make herself useful, I won't stop her. That being said, several of my women co-workers have expressed their disbelief and disappointment in how Molly departed so suddenly, and one even suggested that I do not eat food prepared by Zell. Moreover, 2 of the older ladies have even offered to make food for myself and the children, but I declined. The way I see it, if Zell is useful when I actually need the help, I won't complain, despite the protests of some of my coworkers. Molly and I have been paying for all her living expenses. This is the least she can do. Now for a few comments. One commenter said, so your wife welcomed a cheater into your house, then left her with you for 10 to 15 days when she goes overseas. Your wife is a bit naive. Make sure you keep your boundaries with Zell clear and keep up your communications with Molly. Another suggested, time for security cameras in the house. Then someone joked, who did Zell pay to push Molly's father? And another added, she flew over there and greased the floors overnight. I'm sorry, I can't assist with that request. Am I the idiot for creating a fake account to catch my cheating wife and then blocking her everywhere? I felt like something was off, so I went through her phone and found messages between her and a male friend that seemed suspect. There was nothing overt, but still pretty sketchy. I figured she'd just lie and bury things deeper if I confronted her, so I set up a fake Instagram account and sent her a message saying I knew she was cheating, had the receipts, and was going to contact her partner in 3 days whether or not she confessed. The next day, she sat me down and admitted to cheating, but wouldn't tell me who it was or how long it'd been going on. She was sorry, she loved me and wanted to make things work. It meant nothing, blah blah blah. I told her that I already knew and that it was me who had sent her the message. My ex lost it, and I had to leave the apartment and go stay with a friend to get away from her. She was gone along with most of her clothes when I came back the next day. She'd completely trashed the place while I was gone. This all happened a few weeks ago, and it has been pretty tough ever since. It sucked having to find a new place to live and separating our stuff while dealing with feeling like shoot. To make it worse, I'd met the guy several times, shaken his hand, bought him a drink, thought he was harmless, etc. Mostly I feel like an idiot for having trusted her. I've never cheated on anyone, and I assumed my ex was cut out of the same cloth. My ex is adamant that I'm a jerk for what I did to her, but I don't really feel like I owe her anything. I don't know, am I the jerk here? Now for a few comments. One commenter said, for what you did to her? Wow, she's desperately trying to find an offensive position when in reality she's victim blaming. I applaud you for what you did, which was to catch her cheating and call her out. Guess the other dude can continue making his deposits because she's morally bankrupt. You should send him a celebratory bottle of wine as a gift for getting her out of your life. Does the other guy know she's a cheater? If not, there's a future story here. Not the idiot. Then OP replied, Yeah, he knew about me. We'd met on several occasions, and he'd been introduced to me as a friend. He's just as gross and morally bankrupt as her. They deserve each other. I don't really feel like I need or want any revenge. I just want her out of my life. Another commenter added, NTA, the only jerk here is her for cheating on you. She's just mad you outsmarted her. Now for the one-day update. So I think my original post must have been shared on Facebook or something, because my phone has been blowing up. It's mostly mutual friends and acquaintances asking if I posted it. I told a few people about how I'd caught her cheating, and I guess it wasn't hard to put two and two together. My ex also tried to call me about 100 times. I know she knows my throwaway username because she sent me a screenshot of the post along with a long, hurtful message threatening all sorts of things. I blocked her everywhere after that. I want to clear a few things up. Going through her phone was wrong. I get that. To be honest, it's the first time I've ever done anything like that in a relationship, and it was only because there were so many things that gave me bad vibes. I left the apartment because my ex has a history of violent histrionics when she doesn't get her way. I didn't want to put myself in a compromising situation where she could either hurt me or make up stories about me hurting her. I had a bug-out bag packed and ready to go before I hit send on the message just in case. She didn't do any real damage to the apartment, just threw my stuff around while having a tantrum. It took a few hours to clear up and nothing valuable was damaged, so I figured it was easier to just let it slide. I had to stay in contact with her while we divided up our joint finances, furniture, and various other stuff accumulated over a 4-year relationship. As of yesterday, that's all done, which is why I waited several weeks to make the initial post. She is now blocked everywhere. Yes, I took the cat with me. We've both been crashing at my friend's place while I look for a new apartment. He's doing great. He was always my pet anyway. My ex tolerated him, at best. I told my ex that I was the one who sent the message because I wanted her to know. I suppose I could have played that hand differently, but I wanted the satisfaction of seeing the look on her face when she found out. It didn't feel that great in hindsight. I'd probably go back and do that differently if I could. I wasn't planning on airing her dirty laundry on social media because I wanted to be above that sort of juvenile nonsense, but it seems like the horse has bolted on that now. People know. I don't think there'll be much else to update on after this. I don't intend to ever speak to her again, and I doubt her ugly little man has the backbone to come after me. Jay, I know you're reading this. I hope you also read all the comments in the first post. They were savage. You're disgusting, and I am so glad I was able to see your true colors before I wasted any more of my life on you. Good luck with the pathetic goblin you chose over me. I don't know if I should feel more sorry for him or for you. In any case, people of your quality deserve to be together. O&A, she's all yours now, buddy. Good luck with that. Now for a few final comments. One commenter said, "Good for you. Continue to move forward and don't let anyone make you doubt yourself for a second that fooling that violent cheater into showing her true face was wrong." Another added, "Agreed. You did the right thing. It's good that she showed her true colors. Keep moving forward and don't let her negativity bring you down."